What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine.
And I am still James.
And we here to bring you an epic podcast and another epic review on a epic movie. Let me get this out my way so I won't be distracting. So we have a epic movie review and an epic podcast. Anywho, we're gonna be doing some. We're gonna be talking about Fargo and what's that new show, The Undoing, on HBOMax. And we're gonna review Spell, starring Omari Hardwick. But before we do all that, we got an intro. I didn't set it up. All right, we are back. I forgot to do something. So, having one of them days, but I'm going to get it together. So, we are reviewing Spell. That's a movie starring Omari Hardwick and, how you say her name?
Loretta Devine.
Loretta Devine. And it's a horror thriller, sort of.
Yeah, sort of a supernatural thriller. That's how I'd say it.
Yeah, I'm gonna show a trailer so people can
My
know what
name
we're
is
talking
India.
about. Okay. I'm gonna show a trailer for that movie so people can know what I'm talking about. But just to give you a little, a little heads up about what the movie is about. Like I said, it's like a horror thriller, supernatural kind of movie, and and actually it was surprisingly real good, man. Came out on Halloween, and we watched it today, and it was good. So I'm gonna show the trailer so you get an idea what the movie is before we review it. So here's the trailer, and then we'll be back with our review. Why am I not hearing it?
Where I grew up, it's another world from this one.
My father was stuck in time a little bit.
What was he like?
He was religious, just differently, like superstitious.
So what y'all doing around these parts?
We're going up for my daddy's funeral.
They don't get many visitors up in those hollers.
I'm taking it down!
Where am I?
You was in a plane accident.
What about my family?
Baby, you were the only one found.
I need an ambulance.
Ain't a hospital within 50 miles of here. Where you think you is? New York City? Happened to you? I'm gonna fix you. I'm gonna fix you good. Oh, God, sure, Yahweh. All right now, tell us what you see. You may live in the city, but you from this land. I got big plans for you.
I apologize for the sound keep going out. I do not know why.
This is for your own good.
Maybe that's part of the trailer for the
Who
sound.
even knows?
All right, we back. I apologize for no reason. The sound kept going out. Maybe that was just already on the trailer or whatever.
I mean, maybe.
You know, stuff like that really irks me because you have no reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, anywho. All right, that it was a spell. And like I said, I apologize for the sound going out on the trailer, but you get the idea. All right, it was a horror, thriller, supernatural movie starring Omari Hardwick and Loretta Devine. It's similar to, as you can see in the trailer, it's similar to
Misery.
Misery. Thank you. It's similar to Misery, where a wounded man is kind of held captive in a way, but that's it.
Yeah.
And I was actually pleasantly surprised that they didn't just rip off Misery. And you know what? And one reason why I thought they would be because I looked up the producer and it was Morris Chestnut. Now, why? Yeah, right. Why I would think that makes it mean he's gonna rip off Misery because he been producing all those rip-offs of those. You know what I'm saying? That he usually in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now, so I saw him. I was like, oh, now they ripping off Misery. You know,
Right.
and it wasn't though. But they had and this is what I've been asking for. They had the same core, basic premise, and they added their own, touch to it or whatever. You know,
Right.
they spin on it. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I was pleasantly surprised, and all the performances was good. One problem I had. Omari Hardwick was Ghost. And he was basically his character from Power. He was James St. Patrick. I was like, he tried to maybe make it a little different, but he just looked like what if Ghost got kidnapped by some inbred slaves.
Because see, now I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head. Now. It's like, this season on Power.
Yeah, I know. Ghost been kidnapped by some inbred old ass slaves.
I mean, it's kind of the weakness of, like, I guess the fatal flaw of having a really notable character who probably isn't that far off from your own, like, natural energy.
Yeah.
Is that if someone hires you to play a character because the character suits you, it's because that character is like the character you're most known for.
Right. And I mean, they do that too, where you already, like, people that play villains, they always make them play villains or whatever. But I mean, he had the suit on, he had the haircut. I'm looking like, you got to try to change it up a little bit. At least make him wear, like, different outfit. That was like he had one of the suits from Power on or something, dude. I swear. But anyway.
I had someone who didn't want, like, I've seen maybe 2 episodes of Power.
Uh-huh.
The first thing I thought was, oh yeah, right. I forgot Omari Hardwick is Ghost.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do I know that name? And then I see him in this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Ghost.
And they even had the same style penthouse. Like, he was Ghost, I swear. So maybe that was intentional because of how popular the show is. But anyway, in this movie, we got a successful lawyer that's his father passed away, and he's going to see his father now. I guess his father from this town. I don't know did they ever say? They didn't really say where it was at. Where was it at?
They never said. I think they went either way.
Somewhere in the South.
They said Appalachia, so that's
Okay.
usually a bit more middle America.
Yeah.
But it could have been anywhere from, anywhere like Colorado, Kentucky, Tennessee, any of that. But they went out of their way, I think, not to put any actual location on it. That way, it's like,
Right.
if you look and it's like, that looks like, sure, that's
Right,
exactly
and
what it
then
is.
they also do that so people won't take offense because they they used to say this is they give you a whole town that's actually existing. People like, you trying to say we all like that,
Like, it's pick a rural, out of the way, backwoods hill town.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
I mean, and it's like it's set up like something like The Hills Have Eyes, where basically somebody end up in a backwater town would look like everybody's inbred and you know what? Okay, so this movie where he's going to see he's going to his father's funeral, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's heading to his town, but instead of a drive, he's flying. Now, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
He's got like a small airplane that he's flying his family down or whatever.
Yeah.
So he stopped for gas. Now they hit a lot of cliches, but it was still good to see an all black cast. It was an all black cast, and they basically was acting like this cliche town of inbred hillbillies.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, okay, it's cliche, but I was surprised to see they have all these black actors, you know, basically not acting quote unquote black. They acting
country.
Yeah, they acting like these hillbillies, you know. And I'm like, you know what? It's good not to just stereotype them as what you think a urban black person would be. They just doing a part.
Also, one of the reasons I really liked it is because, you know, I'm a certified city boy. That ain't gonna surprise nobody. But like, it's nice to see this kind of story being told, and for it not to be a race thing. It's a city versus country thing.
Right. And just the actors are black. Of the whole cast happened to be black, but they wasn't playing no stereotypes for blacks. Like, they was playing a different stereotype.
There's literally one white actor, and he's in there for less than 2 minutes. Like, he doesn't even get a name.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everyone of note in this movie is black. And it's not, and this is the thing I kept trying to say to some of my friends who didn't get the issue. I'm like, I don't want a black movie just to get a black cast.
Yeah.
I want a movie that can have an all-black cast, and for that not to be the point.
Right, exactly. So they just had black actors playing these roles of these hillbillies and all this.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, as I told you before, hillbillies are so sensitive. Dude, you say one thing, they immediately take offense.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you say, you give them a compliment, you can give them advice, whatever you say, they're going to take offense. Is it because that's the trope, they need to start some shit with you?
Well, that trope does exist. You know, there's this idea that hill folk always got a chip on their shoulder about the way they're seen by city folk.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't speak to whether or not that's a real thing or not, but it's a very useful trope for storytelling. Yeah. Because it immediately sets you against the other people in the story.
Right. But it also builds the tension is, you know, where the town people are already kind of like looking at you like, we don't want you here, you know, all that stuff. So they did that well. Like immediately, everything they could be like, oh, I like that shirt. What you mean by that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the old guy in the store. It's like, it was ridiculous. But, you know, they followed all those cliches of the rich guy come to town and all the town folk are acting real hostile to him or whatever. So, you know, he gets in the plane, fly, and his plane crash. Now, this is the thing. And this is something come up later. They should have been a little more hurt from a whole plane crashing.
Like,
did he actually land it and it kind of crash landed,
I
or
don't
did
know.
It just crash?
Like, he did say he was trying to bring it down, so he may have been able to ease off some of the damage. But this is still a plane crash, and like we're talking about like a single prop plane. Yeah, it's barely fiberglass. You know, like these things don't have a lot of safety features. They ain't
right.
You know, it ain't like there's an airbag, you know.
Yeah, they were surprisingly unharmed from this crash.
Like a couple of scratches. That was what they got. Was
we'll just say Omari Hardwick. What's his character name?
Marquis.
Marquis or something like that. Well, right. He had a wound, but and and you would think like, oh, okay, well, he should be all broken up, and you know, he just had kind of like one wound. Yeah, and that's kind of that's something that comes to play later or whatever. So as I said before, it was a core idea of like in Misery where, okay, and you see in the trailer, this guy is, he wakes up and this old, I can't think of nothing else to call her but an old slave talking lady. Because I was like, when I first saw this trailer, I was like, I'm offended. I'm like, man, she talking like an old slave. So who talking like that in 2020? You know,
She's what do they call them? A root woman. She's sort of like a faith healer, you know,
Right.
like, and whenever you come up upon those kinds of people, like the ones that live out in the woods and everything, they always somehow manage to have that kind of cadence in the way they speak.
right. And then and the movie kind of explains it in a way that it makes sense.
Yeah, in a roundabout way.
Right, and it's like, okay, so she played this eccentric character that's basically, I mean, she is similar to Captain Bates' character in Misery, where, she keep you in this room and she's basically trying to act like she's helping you, but she ain't. But yeah, and then they follow the tropes also with the inbred family, and they always got the big slow son or nephew or whatever.
Every single one of these movies, they got some lumbering Goliath that never speaks, or if he does, he got the vocabulary of a 4-year-old.
Yeah. But he's always big as shit. And I didn't get his name. Did you know the actor name?
I don't know his name. I know I've seen him.
Might
in a
have
bunch
seen
of
him
stuff,
before.
but that dude is humongous,
Right?
man.
So they had this probably like 6'9", 350-pound all muscle guy.
Big John Henry
This
looking
basically
dude,
just
man.
walking, just didn't say nothing and just, hey, if they tell him to hurt you, he gonna hurt you. That was kind of like how they kept him in line or whatever.
Yeah. Like this dude should have had Terry Cruz's role in John Henry, man. Like this dude is, look, I said he looked like that. This dude is huge, man.
Yeah.
Look like he could take on the locomotive wind and keep stepping. That's how he looked. I'm telling you.
And yeah, so like you said, it's she used this it's not voodoo. It's
hoodoo.
Hoodoo. And I didn't even know it was a
similar,
difference. I didn't know what is. And then I was actually saw another review on it, and they was talking about it's it's a difference. It's hoodoo is a different,
strictly speaking, you aren't supposed to be able to use voodoo to cause harm.
Okay.
Hoodoo, on the other hand, is not used exclusively to cause harm, but like tends to have more dire consequences.
Okay.
Tends to be used more selfishly.
Right. Okay. So it's that, it's hoodoo.
It's the dark side.
Right. Okay. It's the dark side of voodoo, whatever. But so that's where and with voodoo, you always got this voodoo dial. With hoodoo now, it's a dial called a boogity. It's a boogity. I forgot how she said it. But the boogity or whatever is basically just a voodoo dial. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
To me.
It is, but it seems like the way they use them is almost a little more I don't want to say consistent, continual.
Yeah.
Whereas with a voodoo doll, it's more like, okay, look, I'm gonna do this to the voodoo doll, so that's what's gonna happen to you, and then we done with
they
this.
kind of did that, but then they also did some things where if you it was made for healing or whatever.
Yeah.
Put this in the dial and it transfers to you or whatever.
And like that's one thing, and I will give this movie its props. I've never seen that usage of that kind of fetish.
Yeah,
or
it
totem.
was so freaky looking too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
God, dude. That thing will haunt.
They got
me.
some body horror. They got some body horror in this movie. And and that was part of the, like, if you like things like Saw or things that has body gore.
Or what's that one, Sallow, stuff like that.
Yeah, or Hostel, or something like that, where it was a lot of that going on. And then they had some freaky looking stuff where the guy with the eyes, that was
Man,
scary looking.
dude. Like it was bad. Every single part of that sequence was just
So, but yeah, the hoodoo or whatever with the bookity, I knew that was gonna play a big role in it. But and then and they also do in these movies where the guy knows stuff about it, but he's just like trying to forget it or whatever. It's part of his childhood or whatever, and that was cool. But they had one scene in particular that just stuck with me, where should I say the body horror, which I don't want to stay on that too long, but they did something with him what it just made me cringe. Like, oh my God, I can't.
And
I
it's
don't
one of
know.
those things where it's like you watch the scene and you're like, there is no way that they are about to do this. Oh my God, they're doing this. Can he really go? He actually just did that.
And I rarely look away on horror movies, but I kind of looked away a little bit because I knew where they was going, and they went there.
Like, and it's funny because like we had a conversation earlier about like bad sound design. You know,
Yeah.
the sound design was too good on this. Like, I felt it.
Man, and then when they added like some bodily fluids that you don't normally see, like when you see all the fake blood, and
Yeah.
you be like, okay,
Yeah.
you can kind of like,
It's like,
but they showed it looked too real.
First off, I'm gonna say like as a pro tip for folks getting into the special effects business, you can add a lot to the realism of a wound by adding pus. I'm just gonna say that. That's all I'm gonna say.
So
Like I could smell it, goddamn.
yeah. But anyway, the performances was on point, man. His family was kind of like,
Yeah.
but the Loretta Devine and I can't remember the guy name playing the husband. Like that was all.
They was 100. Like
Yeah.
their whole faction was 100.
Yeah. And
Like,
like
they didn't. There was no break in their cadence in their
Right.
patois. Like when man, and the way she played up, like when she would turn around and face away face the camera away from him,
yeah,
and you could see like her face shift,
yeah,
and you could see what she was really thinking. Like,
right.
That's a skill, man.
Right, and it was a lot of good tension moments. It was, what's in common in these movies where when you knew the guy had to escape and you knew he had to be some close calls or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So they did a lot of good tension moments and stuff. That's only really weakness I say was the way it kind of wrapped up.
Yeah.
I think the movie, because I usually like when movies not too long when they're about with movies like this, not over an hour and a half. But I think this movie would have been better if they just added like 10 more minutes to wrap that ending up. Because that was the biggest weakness of the movie. The ending kind of just wrapped up so quick, and they left a lot of loose ends. Well, not really. They didn't leave loose ends, but they gave us some quick little fixes.
It's a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, where it was like this was real good, and then you kind of gave us some cheap little outs just to wrap it up, you know. And I was like, y'all would have been better with 10, 15 more minutes of giving us a better ending. This is a little disappointed because I'm like, this would have been all the way solid if y'all could have wrapped it up better,
Right.
And not saying the ending was horrible, but it was just like, and then I was telling you it was some parts at the end where I was kind of looked at you and you kind of like, yeah, it's kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like,
Of course.
It was like, okay, y'all doing this just so we can be done,
And
not
that's-
because it's a good
and
wrap
I
up.
think that's what's really telling about the way this movie wraps up is because this movie has such great tension in it.
Yeah.
And then the denouement is actually really good. You can tell when it's heading towards the climax, and it's like, this is about to get good. I'm
Yeah.
ready for it. And then it's like, okay. That's the thing that happened, I guess.
Right. And then it's like they was doing stuff that was like out of character, and then it was like, okay, so what happened to, like, the tension just like left, and then they try to bring it back real quick, and then just, okay, let's wrap it up and bye. It's
Yeah.
like, no, y'all could not bring it home.
Yeah.
But
it's a shame, but that's how it happens sometimes.
Yeah, so it was actually a good little horror movie, man. It's a good watch. Too bad they couldn't, give it a
stick
good
the landing.
ending. Right, they couldn't stick the landing, but it's still a good watch. It was that performances really kind of make it better than it should be, because the performances was off the chain, and like I said, the gore and the tension and the horror, the supernatural parts were real good. But like I said, just that ending just kind of just took me out a little bit of well, I would have gave this dope, but I gotta make it all right, I guess, man. It was pretty dope, but but because of that ending being lackluster as it was, I have to give it a very high rate, very close to dope. But it was good though. It was a good movie though.
You know,
What'd you give it?
It's really hard to give a movie a dope when it doesn't give you a satisfying ending. That's what this really comes down to on this.
Yeah.
One. You know, like it's a dope watch, but it's not a dope finish. So it's got to be like it's so close to being a dope, but just a really high right, like right on that line. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely saying see this movie. If you into this kind of thing, you got to see this movie.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was skeptical because of the trailer when I saw the way Loretta Devine was talking. I was like, man, this some old. I was like, this some old.
I mean, the trailer's whack, but
well, I mean, it's not too bad. It just threw me off the way she was talking. Like
I think part of it is just
but it makes sense when you watch it. This whole story. It makes sense the way they act.
Cringe without context.
Yeah, without context, you thinking, oh man, they just being insulted, But when you see the movie, oh, okay, this do make sense, Yeah. But that is our review for Spell. It is actually pretty good. It's not on any streaming yet. You have to either go to the movie theaters or check out or rent it on
YouTube or Vudu.
Yeah, Vudu. But anyway,
Vudu.
Oh.
Hey, I'm just saying, maybe it was intentional.
Yeah, you got me. You got a pun in there. So anyway,
you're welcome.
That is our review for Spell. We'll be moving on to our next review. So we'll go ahead and do Fargo. You know what? Let's do Undoing first.
All right, I'm down for that.
Yeah. So, okay. HBO has a new series based off a book called The Undoing, starring Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant. So those are big, top Hollywood actors. So, when their names attached to the project, it's no bullshit. But no, I guess this was a popular book. I'm not sure how popular the book was, but I'm pretty sure it's a popular book. It's on HBOMax. So, I felt like, oh, okay. And then I was hearing some buzz about it on YouTube. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. And we ended up watching both episode 1 and episode 2. And you'll get more reviews as more episodes come out. But okay, so in this show it stars Nicole Kidman as a therapist, and Hugh Grant as a doctor, and they got like the ideal life. They rich, they got a smart son that he's like, I guess he played, I know he played the violin, but I guess he like in a symphony. Well, he's not. I guess he training to be in like a symphony. He's like
there's this whole
big time
perfect like New York upper crust society, high society thing going on throughout this whole setting.
Right, and then when it actually kicks off, it's set up like a rom-com, because they got the, Hugh Grant is like the rom-com king from the 90s, and he was always the leading man, and so it's like I'm thinking like, oh, this is a kind of homage to his old, his old work or whatever, and they doing the whole like side by side them talking to each other on the phone and stuff. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, okay, it's entertaining, but what is this? I'm thinking like, is this gonna be like a funny little show? Right. And then that other shoe dropped.
Yeah, and it drops hard.
Yeah. So, like we said, we got the couple, Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant, and they got a son, and so another character comes into play. Do you know the actress name?
Matilda D'Angelis.
Okay, I'm gonna let you say that for now.
Okay.
I don't remember her name in the movie, in the show.
Elena.
Okay, so we got Elena. She comes into the play, and this is the thing, and she's fine.
Very.
Put that out there.
Very.
She's a very attractive
Painfully
young
so.
lady, and basically, like I said, she's Nicole Kidman is a upscale lady living in New York, and their kids go to private school, and they got this little they got a committee where I guess the parents teacher committee or whatever.
Yeah.
It just, when I seen that, I'm like, this is all the little rich snobby.
It's weird, man. Like, I look, as someone who went to a private school, my elementary school was nowhere near on that level.
Yeah.
It costs as much to send their kid to that elementary school as it's to send me to high school.
Dude, I mean, yeah. So
This is some crazy stuff.
It's
to me.
it is a uppity, school, and all the people seem kind of uppity.
Oh, yeah.
All the characters, all her friends feel like them, rich snobby kind of people, and so the other lady, she's new to the committee, but she's acting weird.
Yeah.
And then we noticed it right away. She keep on looking at Nicole Kidman character, and it was like, okay, but she kind of looking at her a little too much. And, and then they was like, oh, yeah, she just had a kid. Okay. So, she bring her kid there. And then she just kind of like, basically, she started breastfeeding. And the way and that's not a big deal. But the way she did it
Yeah.
was make you kind of like.
It was a statement.
Yeah.
When you see the moment in the show, she's clearly trying to make a statement. Like she just whips it out and she makes direct eye contact with everyone at that table.
Right.
As she does it.
But she looked at Nicole Kidman kind of like harder.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you do something like that, and I was hearing some other reviews, they was like, oh, it's not a big deal. She's breastfeeding. She's a newborn. It's like, okay, it's not, but
it's not what she's doing.
Usually,
it's how she's doing.
Right.
If she had done that while pouring herself a glass of water, it would have been weird.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you usually kind of excuse yourself, I think, when you do that or whatever, but she was just basically, they having a meeting, and she just whipped her breast out and just started breastfeeding, right in the meeting. And it's fine. It's like, okay, it's all women here. It's, whatever.
I would say, and again, like, I ain't really got a dog in this race, but I would have thought you would have at least made the point of asking before you did. It's like, hey, are y'all cool with this?
Right, or just like, oh yeah, I need to breastfeed or whatever. Say something or something. She didn't say anything. She just popped the breast out, and they were some nice ones. And I was like, okay. And then they start kind of looking at each other like, what the hell, And plus these rich uppity people too, so
Right. Well, like, and that's the thing is like there's a bunch of context there where you already get the idea that she doesn't really belong in this world, at least
You're
as
right.
far as the way they perceive it.
Yeah.
Like one of them even makes a comment it's like, you think she could have left the kid with a nanny or something?
Right. So I'm looking. That's exactly what I was thinking, because I'm looking at her as like, she don't seem like she like rich like them. She seemed like she kind of maybe not poor, but she didn't seem like the same type of person that they were. You know. And so I kind of picked up on that like right away, and so we don't know what this means, but this all leading to something later, and then she also somehow, some way, and this is why Nicole Kidman character is kind of dense, because somehow, some way, she end up at the gym she's at, and she don't ask, how you at the same. I'm like, oh, you go to this gym too? Yeah. And then she pop up in front of her just butt naked, like she come out. And you in the changing area. Now, okay, she's in the locker room, so people do, they shower, they go change. But usually, when you get out of the shower area, you have a towel on.
Yeah. Also, like, and again, just like with the breastfeeding scene, it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. She's not just casually naked, like sitting there going about her business. She's standing right in front of this woman, like stroking her body.
This almost, to me, I'll take that as an insult, because your body way better than my shit.
Like,
why are you just standing in front of me naked talking, knowing you look good as looking at, like, and then they the cameraman said, they was like, all right, let's take a look at no. I can't move this camera. That cameraman was fixed on her ass.
Yeah, this is true. Male gaze was in this, but there's this like the way they handle this, like her body language, like she's presenting herself like she's the prize behind door number 1 on The Price is Right.
Right.
And then when she finally like stops shoving her crotch in this woman's face, she sits right down next to her, puts her head damn near on her shoulder. Do I make you uncomfortable?
Right. It was obvious to me either she was. I couldn't really read exactly what she was doing because I was like, is she attracted to her, or is she just trying to intimidate her?
Yeah.
It might have been a little of both.
I think so. I think that's what that was the energy I was getting off of her, and I was trying to figure out which way it was going to fall.
Yeah.
We didn't get that far.
Right. And then, so we kind of see, we see this is more like episode 1. So episode 1 is more setup, and it wasn't really too much to happen. We just kind of really get to know the characters, and we know about her friends. We know about her, and then you see her later. They like, and somehow she's also at this fundraiser they having. Like she keep popping up.
Well, like the fundraiser at least made sense,
right? Because her kid go to that school too.
Well, and she's on the committee for the auction at the fundraiser.
But then something I didn't really trip off of. I kind of had to go back. Well, I saw it on the recap where they was like, "Oh man, all those men just around her." And then I was like, "Oh, I didn't notice that." And I look back, I'm like, "Oh my God!" It was like 8 dudes just surrounding her.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she looked good, but could y'all make it a little less obvious that y'all want her?
Like it was. You know what? It's piranha swarming fresh meat.
That's what it was. And I'm like, I know y'all got wives here. It's like, you might want to holler at her on the slide, but can you be a little more discreet with that?
Like, I will also say, like, one of the things that annoys me watching this show is all of the wives' friends who are like kind of like stereotypical rich, suburbanites. It's like everything that they see that they want for themselves, they hate to see with someone else.
Yeah,
And so it's like
all her friends, they was like I said, they was stuck up kind of people that as like okay, I mean they seem shallow, all of them,
every last one. It's
right?
Like, oh, don't worry about her, she's fine. Look,
right?
It's like she's clearly uncomfortable with all the attention, but like they don't see how uncomfortable she is.
Yeah.
They just see that someone's getting attention and it's not them.
Right. And so we see old girl later, she's just like crying her eyes out, and I don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. But this is one of them shows where I think they're gonna show kind of like we gonna see it from one point of view, and then later on they're gonna show it from the other point of view, like why this was that. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to find out later. So I think we'll see more about that night as the season go on.
Right.
Because we seeing everything from Nicole Kidman character's point of view, which she don't know nothing. She don't fuck all.
Like, so far, the only character who I don't believe knows less than her, maybe her kid.
No. He know more than she do.
Yeah.
He know more than she do. I guess her head is in the clouds because she feel like her life is so perfect.
Well, she's too close. That's what it is. She's too close to it. So,
and we're gonna talk about what all this means for the second episode. But in the first episode, this basically, she got this perfect life. Her husband said, "Hey, and this time it was kind of weird that it wasn't weird, but I picked up on something right away. Old girl left, and he's like, "Oh man, I just got a call.
Yeah.
I got to go to the hospital because he's a doctor. I don't know if I mentioned that. Oh, I just got a page. I got to go to the hospital. I got a important patient to look after." She's like, oh yeah, because you so courageous. Go, husband. I'm looking like, yeah. When somebody leave and somebody up and got an emergency, something to do, something's up with that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like where they just kind of like I said, you see these people's lives, and you see these characters they develop, and then you think, oh, this is just like a drama rom-com, and then we get at the very end, the stinger is this is a murder mystery.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not really a spoiler saying that the character got murdered because that's like the main plot.
Yeah. I mean, murdered is actually kind of putting it lightly. She was destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a brutal murder. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like a stab. She got bludgeoned to death, and they don't know what's going on. I mean, they don't know who did it. They don't know why. We don't know anything. All we know is she died, and that was the end of the first episode. So, okay, so we move on to that second episode. This is where you, if you was like watching that first episode and kind of like, it is, it's okay, whatever. After that murder happened, you got to watch the second episode because you're like, I want to see who did this. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I would go so far as to say this show starts the last 5 minutes of the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, that's when
it was
this
more
show really-
development
yeah.
on the people, and to me, it was just shows a lot of Nicole Kidman character just being oblivious of anything but her happy life, and this whole episode 2 is about her waking up.
Yeah. Oh man, and what a wake up call.
Excuse me. So, and this episode is more about, okay, the police are investigating. The police are investigating the murder of the lady. So now they asking all the ladies that was in the committee about it. I was kind of wondering, why was they kind of pushing them kind of hard? It's like they didn't have nothing to really do with it just because they
Right.
kind of knew
It
them.
was weird, like, because they singled them out super hard.
Right.
Like, you would think that there would be, like, friends and family of hers that would be getting it. But
Yeah.
like, they zeroed right in on the rest of the ladies in the committee.
Right. And I was like, why? It's like if somebody get murdered, they just like they go to their job and start coming after people that work there. It's like I knew her, but I didn't know her. I knew of her.
Like,
we
the
worked
second
together.
is like, oh, she's been on the committee for, like, a week and a half.
Right. She ain't even
Like-
been on the committee long.
So it's like none of us have known her long enough to have a reason to kill her.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if it had been a couple months, give us some time. But
Right. And then I'm looking like the police, they treated her, Nicole Kidman character, kind of like a suspect, like
Yeah.
immediately. And I'm thinking, why are they so quick to treat her like that? Maybe it's the stuff that came out later, but I thought they didn't know this yet.
I had assumed they didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
which made it that much weirder because they came at her like, listen, we already know that your husband is wrapped up in this.
Wait, but I'm talking about before that, when they kind of came to her house and was like,
well, like, because some of the
like every time
questions
she
they
asked a
her-
question, it's like, why would you think that? You know what I'm saying?
well,
It was
like,
just that
'cause some of the
old,
questions they were asking her was like,
it's something they asked
Clearly-
somebody that they suspicious
clearly
about.
they had something, but this show has not given us anything,
Right.
any kernel of that. It's like they had some reason to go after her because I'm wondering if one of her friends didn't tell them something.
Oh, you know what? So it probably was
Yeah.
stuff that was that we wasn't privy to that the cops knew immediately.
Yeah.
Which it did make sense to us because we just saw from her point of view.
Right.
From her point of view, it was just a normal life. Her husband was go to work every day. He go to work every day, and her kid go to school, and her life is great. And then you come to find out that her husband, she went to, it was so funny. She went to her job, went to her husband's job to ask somebody to work there, like, hey, have you seen, where was he going? And she's like,
I can't talk to you.
dude, it was so funny because, like I said, we from her point of view, everybody was acting so funny to her, and the minute she say, "Hey, I'm looking for Jonathan. Have you seen him?" He's like, "Look, I'm sorry, I can't answer no questions. I'm not getting involved. I gotta go." And she's like, "What?"
Nah, I just want to know if you've seen my husband. Who you work with. I can't talk to you about this.
Right? I'm looking at what the, because like I said, we thinking like her, like what is going on, like
Yeah.
what, so she can't find her husband, and he left his phone, so that's kind of like he's supposed to have went to a trip, and his phone is at home. She heard it ring, and she's like, what the hell? So she's trying to find him. She's like, I can't find him. Where he at? Can't find him. Anyway, and it's funny because every time she goes somewhere where he's supposed to be, it's like, that he ain't been here in 2 months. Like, what? It's like, how does she not know any of this? That's what kind of blew my mind.
Well, like, I think this is one of the things that I find a little damning about this
Mm-hmm.
is the very quickly you get the sense that she is not involved in his life at
Right.
all.
She just stay at home, and I mean, like, I don't see how he can keep, because okay, I guess it's a spoiler, but the thing is, the police come to her and it's like, look, your husband was involved with the murder victim, and not only that, he got fired because of that.
Yeah.
And she didn't know none of this.
Nothing.
It's like, how do you not know? And this dude is in a legal battle to try to keep his job, and you didn't know that with your friend as his lawyer. You didn't know that. I'm thinking like she's just at a point where she too stupid.
Yeah, I it's so weird because you're watching it and you get used to watching these kinds of shows. Like they're gonna like sprinkle breadcrumbs or clues on, all over each episode. But having to watch someone else pick up the breadcrumbs and not notice that they're breadcrumbs, but they're lying all over the place is aggravating.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to see somebody that clueless and find out, as they find out. But it got to a point where I started to lose a little respect for her, only because you this clueless, something, you just a dumb character that I can't root for because you too stupid.
And then she'll even give these rather impassioned little speeches about, do you think that something like this could happen? And I would know.
Right.
Yes.
She defended him and stuff. And
oh, man.
Dude having an affair. Dude could have killed somebody. Dude disappeared. And I wouldn't be surprised if he could. He probably could have framed your ass for it.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, it's coming. It's probably coming.
Yeah. I mean, they probably found a murder weapon in her dresser drawer or some shit.
There's probably some text messages on her phone from the murder victim.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. But she found all this out, and and then she tried to when she go back to, I don't know how this got all public, but she tried to go back to school and take her son to school, and everybody's like, it's like nobody,
no one's on her side.
No, right?
Yeah.
The principal was like, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't come here no more.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just
have someone else drop your kid off and pick him up.
Yeah.
Just don't be seen on property.
Right. And I'm looking like, she's like, wait, I ain't got nothing to do with this. He's like, and nobody want to hear it.
No. And that's the thing, is everyone treats her like an accomplice.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I was thinking, like, do y'all not think it's just the husband and she a victim too? That they feel like, nah, she in on it. You know what I'm saying? That's how they treat her.
They're looking at her like, so where are you hiding your husband, huh?
Right.
Huh? Because we know you're hiding him. It's like, I didn't even know he had been fired. Come on now. They look at her like she is the guiltiest person in this whole story.
Yeah, and right. So he's gone. Or he's disappeared. So, or he's hiding or whatever. But he's the lead suspect, and right now it all just everything point to him. So I'm thinking, me as the viewers, like, oh, he's guilty as hell. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then something happened at the end that make me think, okay, well, I mean, it still could be full of crap, but you know what? It's spoiler. Dude pop up at the end. He's telling me he pop up at the end at the episode where we think she just thinking like, I don't know what the fuck. He pop up at the end. It's like, I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it.
It's like the only thing that makes me believe him is that his explanation is so shoddy that it would have to be true. If he had taken the time to come up with his explanation for why he didn't do it, it would have had to have been better. It's like, no, you don't understand. I did nothing they said. Okay, I did almost everything they said I did.
Oh, and not to mention that she got a newborn, and that newborn is probably his.
Probably.
And they going to get the paternity test on that, and they was like, yeah, we think it's his. And not just that, he admitted to her he had sex with her that night, and then he went back to
that timeline. The timeline. So,
man, dude, you going to jail, dude.
Whether he goes to jail or not, he's going to hell. Man, okay, so look, I told her it was over. We fought about it. We had sex. So I left. I came back to talk to her again. She was dead, right? So then I went home. I got in bed with you, and then we had sex.
This dude a piece of crap, dude. Like, dog, did you even wash off before you got back in bed?
I don't think he had time. I don't.
Right,
think
that's what I'm saying. He went straight and got in bed and got with his wife, and I'm looking like, dude, if you gonna cheat, at least one wear a condom and then wash off.
Yeah,
I bet she didn't.
cheat with class. Come on, now. But
But look, this is the thing. Like you said, the story sound. The only reason why I believe him because it's so stupid. It's got to be true. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like you wouldn't come back and just say this and just make up a lie like that.
Exactly.
That's like saying when you wake up, you got the knife in your hand. I didn't do it. No. You look like you just did it, but the reason why I believe you because you can't be that stupid.
That's like, look, so I know the gun has my fingerprints on it, right? But here's what happened. So I fought the dude off after he shot him, but then he dropped his gun. So I picked up the gun, and I was going to shoot him with it, right? But then I
lock his ass up. So anyway, we're going to wrap this review up, man. It was a good show. It's a good show because it's a murder mystery. Now we want to find out what happened. And I think as we go along, we're going to see everything that got revealed that happened that night. And another thing, they had showed a flashback of something that happened earlier in the show, but it wasn't the exact same way. Yeah. So that maybe he's like, do we have an unreliable narrator here?
That's what I'm thinking. We certainly have an unreliable narrator. I'm also thinking, and this is kind of maybe wishful thinking on my part, that maybe she had a disassociative episode and she's the one that did it.
Right. Oh, man, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because they keep on showing a lot of motifs of double, if you pay attention. Like they showed two of her in the mirror, and when she look at her reflection, oh, boy, I hope we didn't just figure this shit out. Because that would be so disappointing if this is an old split personality. That sounds like where it's going. Anyway, all right. We just guessing. But anyway, that is our review for the Undoing season one, episode 1 and 2. So we're going to move on to our next. Review. We're going to do Fargo episode 7. Fargo episode 7, season 4. Hold on a sec. All right. We got Fargo episode 7, season 4. Now we've been doing every episode, and the show is getting good, man. You know how I know I like this show because when it's over, I be like so mad. It's like I be thinking, no, it's got to be more. It's got to be more. It's got to be more. You know.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want it to end at that where it ends.
Yeah.
So that's how I know I'm really digging the show.
I'll even say like one of the things I've really enjoyed about watching the show is a lot of times when shows always end on a cliffhanger, I get annoyed. You know. Yeah. Because like that's the thing is this show doesn't have like tiny little arcs that get resolved. Everything is a part of the larger story. Yeah. And it's all constantly mounting. And at the end of every episode, I'm like, oh, I need to know. Right. And it's not just the cliffhangers. It's just like, I feel like the episodes are shorter, but they're not shorter. I'm just more into the story, and I wanted to keep going, you know. So where we at is, as we said on the season, the episode before, the gangs are at war. The Lloyd gang, the Black gang, and the Italian gang. Syndicate. They are at a full-on war, and Gitano was kidnapped, and they thought he was dead, but Gitano's been kidnapped, and he's at the mercy of the Lloyd gang, and Josto was trying to come up with a good plan on how he can use this to his advantage. Also, Satchel was saved by Rabbi Milliken, but one of the Josto men was killed in the process. Right. So, and also, Defi has been keeping tabs on Otis and actually been keeping tabs on the Lloyd gang, I guess. Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, but he's not making any moves, which is smart
Which is
because
smart.
stay in the background and wait till your chance or wait till your time to make a move.
And it's great for storytelling, like just because now everyone watching has to be like, okay, who is Daffy really after here? Because I know
Right.
he came looking for
Samara and
Swanee, but now it seems like he's content to sit back and watch the show. So what's he waiting for?
Right, and he's got to know. I'm not sure if he knows exactly where they at, but by following them, you have to follow them right where they're at.
Right.
Swanee and Samara. But like you said, I think he's been tasked with something. Now he's like, it's something bigger going on. You know what I'm saying? That I'm gonna sit back and see how this all play out. You know, and when the dust settle, either I'm gonna grab. I still can get the two that I'm looking for. Either they dead or alive.
Right.
You know, but something else going on, and I want to see what happens. And that's where you got Otis, and I feel bad for Otis, man. I just like
Otis can't catch a break,
man,
dude.
and because he's such a nervous guy, and you know we know why, but now he's up against it with both gangs now.
Yeah.
Where as we showed last week, the Lloyd gang, the Cannon gang, basically said they own him. So now the Lloyd gang own him. I mean the Cannon gang own him, and he still work for
The Fathers.
The Fathers, and now he's in between. But it seems like he's loyal to Cannon.
You know what I think it is?
Not out of loyalty, but more
Yeah.
out of fear.
Out of fear. But like, because one of the things I noticed was like, this is the first episode I've noticed. I don't know if he's done it previous, but like now he actively calls Lloyd boss.
Yeah, I did hear him say that.
You know,
Like, boss, I tried to.
and it's
you know,
like it's not something he says with effort either. It's like, wait, hold on, boss, what does that mean? Like, just like, he's in. So this is one thing I do like about some conversation he and Deffy have, where Deffy's like, well, you just be careful because remember, even a gold coin only has two faces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like he's basically warning Otis, like, look, you can play both sides if you want to, but at some point, this whole thing's gonna collapse. You're gonna need to know where you stand.
Right.
And I don't think Otis knows where he stands. I don't know if he knows who he's more afraid of.
Right, but see, that's what, like we said before, he's doing it out of fear, not out of loyalty. And I think, like, and you know what? I forget that Otis is a cop because where's the law? Like it's like, dude, it's like, are you? He just seemed like he just a soldier. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, at no point legally did you do anything. It's like, do they just own the police? Which Deffy said to Otis that when he looked up Lloyd, he said Lloyd's from New York, and he got cops on the payroll.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who got on the payroll besides Otis? Which he's not really on the payroll. He just got him by fear, but maybe he got some other cops. But maybe he got cops in New York. I don't know. But yeah, that's the thing. And like I said, I feel bad for him because everybody keep asking him to do stuff. And he tried to do it.
And they never ask him to do stuff that's doable. They always ask him to do something impossible. It's like, hey, look, I'm going to need you to go kill the firstborn son of this guy. No, I can't do that because I'm a cop and this guy. I don't care. You get it done. Hey, I need you to steal this very important thing from that guy. No, I can't do that.
I know,
I don't care. Get it done.
And that's why I'm like, dude, they asked him to do some suicidal stuff. And he's already a very nervous guy. It's like, why are you putting this dude in these situations, man? But
it's no wonder his condition isn't easing up.
Yeah, I know. It's like his OCD is. I have OCD now. You know what I'm saying? If I had to deal with that. But okay, so Lloyd got to make some moves. As we said before, they killed Dr. Senator. His pretty much his reply to that is taking Gitano. So, like I said, he has Gitano, and he's beating him up or he's torturing him. I use quotations on that because he's not going on him hard, but he got him tied up, and he kind of worse for wear, but he's not going too hard on him. But they torture him, and we had this scene where I can't remember his name. What's his name? Leon. the guy that
Yeah, Leon.
Leon, was it Leon Little or Biddle? I forget his name because I
Whatever.
remember he said, "Yeah, I'm such and such cousin."
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all the strategies, you know.
Like
and
Skinny's cousin or something.
yeah, and so we had a scene where we kind of see Lloyd lose it,
Yeah.
where we haven't seen that yet, and that's because he's nagging him that, hey, we got to kill Gitano because he killed the doctor, and Lloyd just lose it and start beating the crap out of
Oh
him.
yeah.
How did you like that coming from Chris Rock?
So-
How did you feel on that?
It was as genuine as he's been in this whole show. It's weird. Okay, there is no getting over how weird it is that they have Chris Rock playing this character.
Yeah,
No, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, he can gut somebody in front of me. He can, blow up a warehouse full of kids. It's Chris Rock, man.
but
It's weird.
I thought he did good. It's just the fact that his character is kind of soft to me, and it's like you punched him a couple times, then you took your bet off, start whooping him, and I'm looking like, okay, that's annoying, but that's not really,
It's
like. I mean,
if
he's
the-
blowing off
If
steam.
the point of it was emasculation, then good job.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I seen movies where a guy beat the crap out of one of their subordinates and they go hard.
Yeah.
To me, he just kind of went a little soft with, it's like you punch him a couple times and then, you don't get on the ground and start, ground and pounding him. You just start beating him with your belt.
Yeah, and it's one of the things the problems I have with Chris Rock's character in this whole show is you got all these guys under him who are like, as far as muscle and getting stuff done goes, they're 100%. They fit this world. Then you had Dr. Senator, who had the mindset for it, and you get these unavoidable feeling that Chris Rock's character is just the face. He looks good in a suit.
Yeah.
And he's safe enough that you can have him go and talk to legitimate businesses and say, hey, look, we want to make a deal with you.
Yeah.
But he doesn't feel like he should be in charge.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about that later because he did something that I'm going to get to there. I was like, that's weak.
Yeah.
But they also had him see a billboard.
Yeah.
And on that billboard it said, get a credit card. And I was like, I remember when they was trying to shop that idea, I was like, they're going to steal that idea.
Yeah.
You can't just give somebody that great idea and they always going to say no. And then you're going to turn around, they're going to steal it if it's a good idea.
There is no,
you
like
got
this-
to patent this, but at the
second
time they don't know better.
Right. The second they went and shop that idea, I'm like, that's getting stolen.
That's why I was like, because we all knew that credit cards became a huge deal, but we don't know. I don't know exactly who came up with the whole idea. If it's one person credited or whatever with that. No pun intended. But I knew it probably wasn't. I'm not sure if it was a black guy that actually came up with the idea or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, once he started shopping it, I was like, oh, somebody's going to steal it and somebody else going to get the credit or whatever. So I knew that was going to happen. But they basically it was a time where Lloyd was kind of getting to his wits' end, and then the next thing he saw was a billboard of his idea.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is making the pot just boil, you know what I'm saying? But okay, we could talk a little bit about Josto. What his plan was to do to wrap all this up. Now he found out that his man was killed, and his order was to kill the kid and Rabbi.
Yeah.
But Calamito don't know where they at. So they had a scene where and I did like he went to this is stuff where I maybe say Lloyd's weak. Yeah. Why would he go to his wife? I mean, he go to Lloyd's house thinking that maybe he brought the kid back to his house, and I was like, why you got your wife and kids at home knowing that this is going on with nobody there? No men was there, no protection on your family.
And the thing I was wondering, like, I didn't know if that was because he was losing the plot or because he was trying to make a point. But like,
Who?
Lloyd.
By not protecting your wife and kids, dumbass.
I don't. So, like I said, I don't know if this is him losing the plot or if he was trying to like make a point of strength. Like, no, I don't need men to keep my house safe from me. My house is secure alone.
Right.
But what I think it is, he's so distracted by all these moving parts because the person who kept everything running was Dr. Senator.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you, but come on, dude. That's common sense. Like, that would have been my first state of mind, and then I would have been thinking about the business.
He's not thinking of defense, though. He's thinking about offense.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the business.
You don't think they can come to
I'm
your
talking
house?
about all the moving parts of a war. This dude is like, I need y'all to go find this.
The minute
find that.
The minute he took Gitano, you should have got your wife and kids out of their house, put them somewhere safe, because you knew they're going to come back at you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, why wouldn't they go to your family house? Luckily, Mrs. Cannon is a bad mother. Because, boy, that shotgun came out. I was like, damn. Calamito was like, all right, it's cool. We cool. Because, boy, she.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you what. In that moment, I think Calamito realized, oh, we've been dealing with the wrong one.
No wonder. Okay, we've been dealing with you the muscle. I see that. Because it wasn't no fear in Mrs.
Not
Cannon.
at all.
And, she had a sawed-off shotgun, and that mug came out so quick. Boy.
Like, I don't even know how that mug came up so quick, man. Like, 1 minute she was standing in the door, next there was a gun barrel in his face.
Hey, you see he backed off.
Yeah.
And no more. Look, I was like, boy, is he going to, like, try to go around the back, or is he going to try to come back? No, he left that whole inquiry was just dropped. It's like, we're good. Now, I'm cool. Don't even tell him I came by. I'm just gonna go ahead and go.
She told him, ain't nothing in this house for you but steel and iron.
Yeah.
Now where you want it.
But yeah, so that's another thing I was like, that was, that kind of made me mad about Lloyd, the fact that he didn't have didn't think to protect his immediate family. But anywho, like I said, Gitano is held prisoner, and so we still got Zamora and Swanee. So these kind of like the wild cards to me, you know. And I'm like, what you gonna do with them? So when I saw on the trailer they met up with Otis, and I was like, oh, I bet you got a plan that he about to put together, because he got all these pieces, and you don't do nothing, because I'm thinking like he tell them, here's bus ticket, leave town. I'm like,
this ain't your fight.
What are you doing?
And not only
I'm trying to do the right thing. Right thing. They stole money from you and they killed 3 of your men.
And not only that,
they indebted to you for a minute.
And not only that, they're ready to finish the fight.
That's what even make it even worse. They like, hey, we don't want to leave. We ready. They like this stuff.
Yeah, this is
you got 2 hitters that's ready to put in work.
This is
and
what
you
they
about to
live
go to
for.
war. Why would you send them away?
Exactly. This is what these 2 live for. They've been looking for some mess to get into, and it landed right in their laps. And this dude gonna say, nah, this ain't your fight. Here's some bus tickets. Y'all step.
Really, dude? That's what I was like. I was like, man, Lloyd is looking kind of whack right now. And I'm thinking like, okay, all right, you can't just go out guns blazing, because honestly, the smart moves is to not go to war, because I think he's he's not
ready.
Well, not just that, they got more people because the Italians brought New York in.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So I know, okay, he's got they got too many they got a lot of they got too much firepower right now.
This is the problem with this whole setup, and I think it's one that Lloyd has been underestimating, but Dr. Senator never did, which is the Cannon Syndicate is purely local.
Right.
The Fadas are a local branch of a larger organization.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. And that's where I was like, when they said New York was coming, and then they had a scene where Josto was going to meet Lloyd, they brought a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that was all of like the New York mob or whatever. But this is the thing: the New York mob, they want Josto to patch it up with the Candace, and you know why? I feel like because they don't care about that. They don't care about his squabble. They want the money to keep flowing.
Yeah.
So New York's like, look, I don't care about y'all little whatever. We want the money to keep flowing. But if he killed Gitano, that's a reason to start a war.
Because, like, for as far as New York is concerned, gang wars are bad for business.
Yeah,
'Cause that
yeah.
brings cops, that brings the FBI.
Right.
We can't make money off of it.
Dead bodies start popping up. Nobody making no money. They like, no, we don't want that. That's not money.
Right.
That's not good for business, as you said. And so they told them to patch it up or whatever. So they had a little meeting, and they came with respect, in which the council's conciliarily is actually did consider Dr. Senator a friend. You know, I was feeling like, after a while dealing with people so long, you know, it's like you get that respect, you know, and Dr. Senator had that respect. And that's why all those moves was made by Gitano and the Calamito by themselves.
And also, both Dr. Senator and the consigliere, whose actual name I don't know, both came at it from a very similar standpoint, which is, look, we both been in some fashion of this game for a long time. Mm-hmm. We know that all this hot-headed stuff that these young cats are on ain't nothing. We know how business works.
Mm-hmm.
Take all the rules out, take all the face out. This is how the game works, and you want yours and I want mine. How do we get out?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
And without those two being able to influence anybody, one is dead and the other ain't being listened to. You got these young cats going buck wild over the city.
Yeah.
You got Gitano and Calamita just doing whatever the hell they feel like. Josto wants everyone dead so he can finally sit in his big chair and be comfy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So once they had this meeting, basically Josto tell Lloyd that your son got killed. Now, this also make me say, like, okay, this is something you can't just act like, you know, you can't just go, it's not business as usual now. Right. So now your son been killed, but it wasn't me, it was Gitano. So why don't you kill him?
And his boy Calamita.
And then we call it, and that's even Steven, a life for a life. This is what I'm saying. Now, Josto had a plan, and it's not a bad plan, but the way he tried to pull that off was so stupid.
Well, because this is the thing you got to remember about Josto. He doesn't get it.
I know he don't, and to me, it just felt a little out of character because he was making some good moves, and he actually had a good plan. But the thing is, you can't tell somebody the idea. You have to make them think that it was their idea.
And that's the thing, is like the way he laid it out, that once he started laying it out, I knew it wasn't going to work.
Right, exactly, because to me either. I'm thinking like, why would I do exactly what you just said?
Exactly.
You just said.
Because now I know that's what you want.
That's exactly what you want. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking like, and that's why I'm thinking like, I was like, if Josto's smarter than that, I don't see what, that's a little out of character.
That's the thing. He's not smarter than that. Josto is one of those guys that has half of a good idea rolling around in his head at all times, and he always assumes that it's fully formed, so he never finishes it
I mean, his arrogance is his problem. And also, his men not being loyal to him is also a problem because nobody never follow his plans to a T. It's somewhat they do it, but he kind of, when he give people orders, they kind of just be like, they always question him and they might do it, but they, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, Josto, you are right. He think he's smarter than he is, but the way he presented it, like, okay, I can get Gitano out the way. I can, and I'm like, I'm thinking like, yeah, you want to get Lloyd to kill Gitano, but you just asked him to do it, and you told him exactly why you needed it done. Why would I do that? And the offer that New York gave him was better. They would basically say you get control of more territory and make more money, and because he said, look, New York want to make it right. they know war is bad for business, and they want to keep our business going. So we're going to give you more territory and more money, and in exchange for Giatano life. And we know that he killed Dr. Senator, but we can't let you kill him because that's the dying son.
Right.
You know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I understand where they at. And now Lloyd do have a hard choice now. One, his son died, and two, they killed Dr. Senator. So should he? Smart move is actually not to kill Giatano,
Right.
but should he do it for revenge?
And it puts him in a very tough position because he now has to weigh that also against how do either of these decisions make me look.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something like he could always offload that question before.
Right.
And he hasn't had to ask it too much during this whole conflict.
Right.
And now he has to, and it's like, okay, I can either do what I know deep in my heart of hearts I really want to do, which is kill all of these mugs.
Yeah, and not to mention, they forgot about Little Zero.
Little Zero.
And they kind of gave us a little scene where Lloyd was basically, out of anger, thinking about killing.
He was ready.
Right, he was thinking
ready.
about actually killing Zero. I knew they weren't going to do it,
He was
especially
a foot away from it.
especially knowing this character. He's not going to do that. But honestly, I'm thinking like the Italians just forgot about
No,
him.
they didn't, because Josto did mention him when he was offering up Gaetano. He's like, "Look, you got my Zero, my sweet little Zero. What I'm asking you, don't kill him."
He didn't even give a damn about that for real.
No, he didn't. Like that was look. If you want to kill Zero, kill.
Yeah, I
Zero.
know.
I can't stop you. But so long as you kill Gaetano,
Right.
like that's. But like that was his token, plea of family.
Which he was full of it.
He was full
But
of it.
I was thinking like, okay, since Satchel died, which he didn't, we know he didn't, but Lloyd think he did.
Right.
And he went on ahead and took the deal and returned Gitano. But what do you do with Zero? Because I'm not giving him back.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not just gonna give him back. That's
Look,
gonna be my son.
Because I'd be like, no, you can have Zero back when I get my son back alive.
Yeah, I mean, well, he think he dead.
I'm just saying, like,
Oh, you saying
like, just no. You find some way to make that happen. You get your boy back alive. Otherwise, if you want him back, you get your son back the way I get mine back.
But see, like I said, Josto really don't care.
No,
you know,
he don't
so
give a damn. He don't give a
but
damn.
this is the thing. So I mean, the smart move is to take the deal. But this whole episode, like I said, Lloyd just been looking kind of weak to me. But you can't fight. You can't start a war. You can't fight a war you can't win. Smart moves take the deal, and but I just thought that was a dumb move to send away his two hitters.
Yeah.
And then he also talked to Otis. Your boy Lloyd loved monologues.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, he had a whole monologue to Otis, and I'm starting to feel bad for Otis because he always got to listen to it. He had a whole monologue to Otis, and Otis like, what are you saying? I'm like, yeah, I feel you, Otis. I don't know what he's talking about either, man. I'm tired of this dude. And it's like Gitano was like, man, dude, if you gonna kill me. Why you gotta talk to me 20 damn minutes before you gonna do it? Just do it. Shut the fuck up and do it. And I was like, for real, dude. Lloyd, you too much talk. Like every time before he do anything, he got to give you a 20-minute speech.
Like it's damn near a sermon. It's you ever heard about such and such? Yeah.
Just to do something real quick. But he got to talk to me for 20 minutes
Look,
first.
My boy over here is gonna work you over with his fist. But let me tell you, you ever heard about this box?
Dude, yeah, I'm like, I'm starting for the character Lloyd. It's like I don't dislike him or nothing. I think he got charisma. It's just the fact that you're doing a couple things that it's like kind of weak because your enemies do not share your morality at all. Yeah. So we almost forgot about somebody. Oleata. Oleata strikes again.
Dude, her trigger finger is got like that hair trigger shaved down to the wire, isn't it?
All right. So once they opened up and saw Oleata start cooking, and we already know what's happening. We already know what that means. Oh, somebody about to get it. And so she go and see this doctor. Now this part messed me up. Now you know the doctor that that she worked for. He already know what she on, but he gave her another chance. I don't know why she did this, but she come with the cookies she was talking about. Now he was like, "Look, I ain't got time for this. I don't want the damn cookies."
I just had a big meal.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I think for a minute, I think, oh,
he
he's
might
smart.
make it away.
Right? I think he might know something. He might be smart because he probably said, "Hey, somebody accusing her of killing the pages. I ain't about to eat nothing. You get me." You know what I'm saying? And she kept on nagging him, and he was like, "All right, I'll try one cookie." So he eat them. This is amazing. Who dies that quick? Now, no poison.
To be fair, he did not die quickly.
Okay, but he
that was some
immediately
drawn out.
Well, like, okay, you have to swallow the poison, ingest it, and then go through your bloodstream. No, he ate one.
No, he ate a couple of them.
No, he ate one.
He went back.
I think I saw him eat one cookie, and he immediately just kind of like choking and fell out. Now, if you got allergic reaction, maybe.
I mean,
but if this is poison,
it could have been strychnine. I think strychnine is pretty fast acting. Don't ask why I know anything about that. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, this dude eats this macaroon and he immediately starts convulsing. He can't breathe. He falls down the ground.
Now I'm asking you this: do you think she did that just? Okay, so when he started dying, she went and grabbed a letter out the drawer to see who wrote it and check the handwriting or whatever. You think she did that just to see that letter, or did she already plan to do that? You think?
Yes.
Yes. So what?
To both. So this is the thing, right? I think the moment he dared to question her, that was the day she decided at some point he was going to die.
Well, I mean, but not to don't forget that Josto wanted him dead too.
Yeah.
So she could have been doing that for him.
I don't think that factored into it.
That could have been at some point she could have been thinking I was already gonna do this.
Yeah.
But that just made it more quicker. The fact that she needed something, she needed to see that letter anyway.
So like, I think it was just at some point this dude was gonna die.
Yeah.
That was a given.
But I'm thinking like, okay, you can't just keep poisoning people without them knowing. I mean, I know this is in the 50s.
I don't think she's got the foresight for that. This is the thing, right? Like,
I'm just saying, I know this is in the 50s, and at some point when they do a cosmetology report
autopsy.
on him, or autopsy, they're gonna see this man was poisoned.
Yeah.
Who was the last person that gave him some food? You know, it's just I just don't see how this can't come back to her.
Right.
You know,
I will say one thing: despite being a serial poisoner, she seems to be a really good cook. That's all I'm saying.
How you gonna say that? You don't know what the foods to everything she have, and then she cooked. She put poison in it.
Look, dude,
it just looked good.
I ain't never seen anyone eat her apple pie or her macaroons that way.
Yeah.
Okay, I love apple pie. I've never attacked an apple pie that way, and I'm the kind of dude that.
So you saying the cooking's so good that they don't notice that something tastes off? That the taste so good they just eat the whole thing.
I'm just saying, you know, like that doctor ate that macaroon like he wanted to go for something strong. Like that dude was savagely eating that. Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as that type.
So look, she got the letter, and this is a matter of time before she pieced together who wrote the letter, I believe. So I think they set up her and Ethel Reader to have some kind of showdown.
Those
or whatever.
names, dude.
But I'm thinking, like, do you really have to do all that to find out who wrote that?
Like, who else
I
could
guess
it
she
be?
could think it could be somebody from the other hospital, but I suppose she hasn't went in her room. But that notebook is so placed in a place that as soon as you open that door and turn the light on, you're going to see immediately, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, and then Ethelreda got the ring, and like, I know this is something they played like 2-3 episodes before, but when is this going to,
Right.
obviously going to come to head now.
And one other thing I did want to talk about this episode.
Was that?
So you remember a couple episodes ago, we got that weird vision of death. You know,
Yeah.
we got another little thing like that in this episode. When
I don't even remember seeing it. What was it?
Lemuel was in the funeral home. They were dropping some stuff off.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there in the funeral home, and the a dude sits up a little bit out of the coffin. Like, he opens it up and he peeks out. Dude's like all white with some black shades on. And then he creeps back and closes it. He creeps it back closed before Lemuel can turn around.
I didn't really notice that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I was looking at something else. I should have noticed that. But for some reason, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep on bringing up this death spirit or whatever this is. I don't know where they're gonna go with that.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. But
'Cause every time we've seen it, it's like like the scene gets begged off. It gets
yeah.
subverted.
I mean, maybe it's just saying death is around the corner or something. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I
just-
kind of wish they'd leave it alone because
don't
it don't
get-
belong.
I don't get the point of that device in this show. It doesn't fit.
Yeah, but we'll see. That's basically your whole episode, and it's really so it kind of stalled the war.
Yeah.
So they stalled the war, but we still got Gitano, and we don't know what his retaliation going to be for that. But I'm telling you, New York going to tell him to sit your ass down.
He ain't got that quit in him.
But I know if he going to do something, they can't know it's from him.
Right.
You know.
I mean, that's the problem, like, on their side with, Gitano and Calamita is those two want the war.
Yeah, I know, but it's like eye for an eye. You killed Dr. Senator. That's why we got you. He might be thinking like, well, I did kill a man. Even Steven. We don't know. I think we know this can't be no happy ending. This can't go back to normal.
Not.
But as right now, they stalled the war. I think that was pretty much all in the episode. I might be missing
Yeah.
one
that's
small detail.
If there's anything else, we're just gonna miss it.
Yeah. So that is our review for Fargo, episode 7. It's 11 episodes. They usually have 10, but they said they had so much stuff left over today
I believe it.
that they went ahead and just put it in
There's,
made
like,
another episode.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
But I'm
man.
thinking like there's gonna be a disjointed episode. I wouldn't mind just seeing the last episode of Where's Everybody Now?
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but we'll see. But anyway, that is our review for Fargo season 4, episode 7. We will have episode 8. We'll be doing that next week. As of right now, we are going to get out of here. Kind of a late one. Sorry about that, y'all. But thanks for checking out the video, and please subscribe to the channel. It's a little icon. I believe it's right over there. I was pointing the wrong direction last time. So icon right over there that you can press, and it'll subscribe you to the channel.
And as always, hit that bell, the bell icon. Set your notifications. English. Set your notifications to all rather than personalized. That way you get every single notification when we go live or when we post a video. And, of course, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about the stuff we reviewed today. And let us know what you think we need to review next. And we out of here.
Yes. Thanks for checking us out. Peace.
Peace.